Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, February 27th, 2026. Welcome to Douglas Now Live. I'm Robert Preston Jr., live in the Douglas Now studios on West Walker Street. Now, we got a busy day today. We're going to be doing a lot of videos today. We've already done one. We're doing one now. I have a video that I'll be doing as soon as we sign off here. I'm going to jump across the hall into the 106.7 The Buck Studios, where we will have Agriculture Commissioner Tyler Harper in the studio with us. And I say with us, I will be on coffee break with Paul Elliott, who hosts that show now. But together we will be talking to the Agriculture Commissioner. He was in town this morning. If you watched the first video that we've already done, we had the Blessing of the Crops event this morning at the C.E. Weir Center, which was a breakfast and then a meeting where we honored some folks who have shown excellence in agriculture. We also heard remarks from Commissioner Harper, and then the most important part of that event was praying for the upcoming growing season. And if you haven't watched that, go check it out. We did it live this morning, but it's sort of on demand. You can go back and watch it. It didn't last a long time. It's not a terribly long time commitment, but go take a look at it. Commissioner Harper made some very appropriate remarks and framed how important agriculture is to our community. Now, we all know that, at least academically, we understand how important agriculture is, but when you break it down in the manner that he did, you can see that it really is the number one industry, not only in our community, but also in our state. And if our farmers don't do well, if our farms don't produce, then our communities don't do well. All right? That's everything. So again, it was a neat event, and we appreciate him taking the time out of his schedule to come into the studio and sit down with us. So once we sign off here on coffee break, on Douglas Now Live, we're going to jump right across the hall and go into coffee break as well. And then I have another video that I'll be doing later on this afternoon. We will also be at Clayton Homes one more time after lunch, if the weather holds up. We'll see how well the prayers were. There were some folks who prayed for rain this morning. If the Lord answers the prayers immediately, I'm not sure how that will affect us this afternoon at Clayton Homes, but we're going to be out there after lunch. So, maybe I'll get the time to go home and change my shirt. If not, I may be wearing, this is my favorite shirt, by the way, but I do at least need to try to change at some point. So maybe I'll have a different shirt on. If not, I haven't had the opportunity to go home and change. One thing I love mentioning, nothing makes me happier than the statement that I'm about to make. And we've been able to say it quite a bit here lately. And I hope we'll be able to say it again this spring, that this is not the last time we'll get to say it, but we are on championship watch once again in Douglas and Coffee County. The CCA Patriots basketball teams, both the boys and girls, are playing for state titles today. Not region titles, not area titles, but state championships today at Columbus State University in Columbus. The girls tip off at 3 o'clock, the boys at 4:40. All right. Now, this is the second consecutive year that the boys have played for a state title. They're playing the same team that they played last year for a state championship, also same team that they played last year for a region championship. If you want to back it up 30 years, it's been 30 years since both CCA teams played for a state title in the same year. It was 1996. Back then, the girls won, the boys lost. So we're hoping that this year, both teams will win. Now, both teams are underdogs, all right? These teams play each other during the regular season. They are very familiar with each other. In fact, CCA is playing First Preparatory Christian Academy out of Hinesville. This is the fourth time in the last couple of years. And really, we're not even counting the regular season last year, but we played First Prep for a region title last year and beat them at the buzzer. Then we turned around and went through the state playoffs. We played First Prep for the state title last year at Bruton Parker, and they beat us The girls are playing Memorial Day. They played Memorial Day twice this year. Memorial Day has won both times. Just the last three meetings, here are the scores. The boys with First Prep, state championship game last year, they won. First Prep won 59-48. We played in Douglas on the 20th of January. They won 62-59. Then we went over to Hinesville and played them on the 30th of January. They won 73-61. The girls this year have played Memorial Day twice. We played them on January 27th here in Douglas. They won 55-36. We went over there to Savannah on the 6th of February, and they won 49-36. So both Patriot teams are underdogs. But I've said this before, and it holds true, that it's hard to continually beat a team over and over and over, particularly good teams. All right? And both the CCA men's and women's teams are pretty good. And playing on a neutral court with the travel involved is kind of interesting. We're having to travel, for us it's 3 hours to get to Columbus. For Hinesville, First Prep is probably 4.5, 5 hours. Savannah, you can add about 30 minutes or so to that. And they have to, if they don't go through Douglas, if they don't go through Douglas, they've got to get pretty close to Douglas to get over to Columbus. So both teams are having to travel, and you don't know what that will do. They've got longer road trips than we've got, playing on a neutral court. You're not going to have the same fan support. You're going to have a lot of fans from both schools there, but you're not going to have as much as if you were playing a little closer to home. So there are a lot of factors that can go into this. And I'll tell you what, particularly with the boys, they have had a couple of key injuries. They've had some of their better players were out through the region tournament. Didn't have a good region schedule. I think they went 1-5 in region and then didn't do much in the region tournament. But those players are back. And when you have the starting five in for CCA for the boys, they're a totally different team than if you pull one or two of those guys out. So they're going to be back at full strength here today. And we're hoping it would be fantastic. I don't think that's ever happened. I mean, I can pretty well say, and my history goes back about 30 to 40 years with some of this stuff. Maybe in a few other sports it goes back a little farther. But I think it's a pretty safe bet to say that we've never had two high school teams win state titles on the same day. So this could be a hit. I mean, they've only played for state titles, once. This has only happened once, that two teams were playing from the same school, were playing for state titles on the same day. So it's another bit of history, but if we can win both of these today, this would be absolutely phenomenal. And if that happened, somebody let me know if I'm correct here. If that happened, we would have this would be 6 state championships, either team or individual, at CCA since the beginning of the 24-25 school year. All right, they've already got, I believe, 4. In 2024, the softball team won a state title. 2025, last year, the end of last school year, the CCA boys baseball team won a state title. Arabelle Roberts won a state title, an individual state title at the state track meet. Then the 4th championship came in October of 2025 when the softball team went back-to-back and won another state championship. So that's 4. So if we could pull off, and these teams are a little closer than it looks like on paper, but CCA is still an underdog. So if we win these games, I think you could call it a minor upset. And I'm not saying that it can't happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but that's the way the matchups shake out. So if we could pull off a couple of upsets today, this would be truly historic. And we're going to be right there with you the whole way, and we're going to get these stories up and let people know what's going on as soon as we can after these games end. If you followed what happened on Wednesday, I believe it was, we had 4 teams in the state playoffs. We had the 2 CCA teams playing in the semifinals, and then we had the Coffee High boys and girls playing in the first round of the GHSA playoffs here in Douglas. And I spent all night long writing basketball stories because they were spaced out throughout the day. And that's what I did all Wednesday night. And we put up 4 basketball stories. 3 of those teams won, 1 lost. This is the Coffee High girls won their first round matchup pretty big. I do not want to leave them out. So while we've got these 2 teams from CCA playing for state titles, we have a 3rd basketball team in the state playoffs. And that, of course, is Coffee High. They're playing here today at the Coffee High gym. So if you want to go watch some postseason basketball, you don't want to travel 3 hours to Columbus, you can do it right here tonight. I believe those games, or that game kicks off at 5:30. But Coffee High is playing Morrow. Now, what's interesting, if you look at the Max Preps rankings, Coffee is ranked number 7. Morrow is right there at us at number 10. So we are ranked higher than Morrow, which means we should be the favorites tonight. But Morrow's really good. They're a really good basketball team. By contrast, Lee County's ranked number 14. So we've played a team of comparable ability according to the rankings. So you got the number 7 ranked Coffee High girls playing the number 10 ranked Morrow girls at the Coffee High gym today in the second round of the state playoffs. So that'll be good, a good matchup as well. We're going to be paying attention to it too. So the CCA boys and Coffee High girls are going to overlap. So we're going to do the best we can to cover these 3 basketball games here tonight. But it's going to be a busy day. It's going to be a busy day for us all the way through here on Douglas Now. I told y'all earlier in the week, we are inundated with sports. If you look at the Douglas Now website, you're going to see a lot of sports on there. And we're doing our best to try to break that up. But we've got baseball games going on. We've got softball games going on. We are, and then, of course, these basketball games. We got all this stuff happening right now. So, again, on the positive side, we're celebrating the successes of our student athletes at all of our schools. So it's pretty cool. It's a good problem to have. All right, but go take a look. If you don't look at the DouglasNow.com website, if you just get your Douglas Now postings off of Facebook, go to the website and look and see how many sports stories are up there at the top. It's a pile of them, and there's going to be more. There's going to be at least 3 more today. All right, and we hope they're all good. We hope they're wins. We hope they're state championships. That's what we want. Monday, I've told y'all, got to get out of February. Got to get out of February. Tomorrow's the last day of February, so Monday's the first Monday of February. That's County Commission Day. One thing we haven't done a very good job of is keeping folks up to date. Well, we keep you up to date with what's happening at the county, but we don't talk about it in advance. So a lot of times people don't always read the stories and don't really know what's going on. So here's what's happening at the County Commission meeting on Monday. And one thing I do want to mention is one of the first, I've got the agenda here. And it's a 3-page agenda, so we're not going to look at, but this is the County Commission agenda. So, one more page. So that's the county, but they usually run through this pretty quickly. Now, one of the first items on the agenda is that qualifying starts on Monday. There are elections this year, all right, in addition to the midterms in Congress, state, your governor's up, all that stuff. But we do have some local elections as well. And qualifying begins on Monday. If you would like to run for office, locally we've got County Commission District 1, County Commission District 3, Board of Education, Districts 1, 2, and 4. The solicitor is up. The qualifying fees for County Commissioner, $127.17. Board of Education, $303.19. Solicitor, $2,058.82. Qualifying begins Monday at 9 a.m. and runs through Friday, March 6th at noon. If you want to run for a local office, you can run at, you qualify at the county elections office here, which is in the courthouse annex building. Now, if you want to run for state office, and House District 176 is on the ballot, you also have State Senate District 19 is on the ball. you will have to go. The qualifying period, I believe, is the same, but you'll have to go to Atlanta to qualify for those. You do not do that locally. So on the agenda, a board appointment, approve the county maintained road list. What's interesting there is you get to figure out we get to see how many miles of paved roads versus dirt roads that we have. That's always kind of interests me. Going to surplus a 2013 Chevrolet Tahoe from the sheriff's office. Probably put that on Gov Deals, but they have to approve that. You've got approve or reject the bid for a drainage pipe replacement on George Dean Road and on Huffer Road. So if you live on either of those two roads, assuming the bids get approved, you're going to have some new drainage pipe at select locations on those roads. The bid for the contract agreement for Circle K and Ranch Road street and drainage improvements. Now, this is the bid and the contract. The reason this has some interest for me is because I live on Circle K Road, or the west side of my property is on Circle K, and it's a dirt road. There's been a dirt road for 20-something years, so they're going to pave that road. And I think this is the first time in my life that I've had a road paving project on the county commission, in the county commission meeting. So I want that road paved. So I don't know how my neighbors behind me feel. I haven't lobbied or advocated one way or the other. They just told me it was on the list, and I said, okay, that's fine. Let's get it paved. It's gonna send my child into sensory overload when they start building it, but we'll handle that. Also, a first reading of a subdivision application by Twin Oaks LLC for 36.25 acres located off Elsie Anderson Road. A public hearing for the application to close Rustic Road. Then they are going to approve or reject the resolution to close Rustic Road. It is the entire length of that road. Also, a public hearing to close a portion of Jesse's Lane and Oscar Patton Road. Then they will have after the public hearing, they will vote on whether or not to abandon those roads. About 3,480 feet on Jesse's Lane will be closed, and about 7,450 feet on Oscar Patton will be closed. And if you're keeping track, you want to know how far that is. 5,280 feet is a mile. So it's less than a mile on Jesse's Lane, more than a mile on Oscar Patton. Also going to have the first reading and rezoning request for application from Katie Smeltzer of Smeltzer Real Estate Group for 5 acres located at 4500 Willacoochee Highway from agriculture to commercial. Then they already had the first reading of this last month, so they will have the public hearing for the rezoning request from Chad Hobbs for 1.93 acres located at 4120 Willacoochee Highway from agriculture to commercial. Then they're going to have a public hearing to approve or reject, or not a public hearing, but a vote to approve or reject the rezoning request from Chad for that same piece of property. Also going to hold a public hearing for the subdivision application from 7 Acres Properties for 36 acres located at 140 Mingledorf Road. Then they're going to vote whether to grant that subdivision application for 7 Acres Properties. So that's what's going to be on the county commission meeting on Monday. If you live on these roads or have any interest here, you might want to go, or at least contact your commissioner. And if you want to run for office, qualifying begins at 9 a.m. Monday. It runs till noon on Friday. So again, doesn't go past noon. A lot of people think that qualifying goes to 5 o'clock on Friday. It does not. It ends at noon, 9 a.m. Monday to noon on Friday. Let's take a look at our tower cam. I was really hoping that we'd get some rain. It rained a pretty good bit for a little while this morning, and rain was in the forecast, but the rain's going to move off. Shouldn't be raining this afternoon, and we should have a pretty weekend. But you can see the cloud cover again, sort of looking back to the southeast from the studio, back toward the city. It's a very different view during the day than it is at night. And you can see the lights from homes and the traffic out on Highway 206. You can see through the trees. Used to not be able to see that, but after Helene knocked down so many of our trees, you can see right through there, straight on out to the highway. So Not a very pretty day right now, but it should be before it's all said and done. And it looks like I'm not going to get to put snow on the tower cam this year. I hope we don't. If we have snow on the tower cam, something bad has happened in March or April. We're still going to have some cool weather, but hopefully we're putting most of that in our rear view and we can move on. Time changes in a week, not this Saturday, but the next Saturday. So we get into March, we get the time change. I know we're still going to have a little volatile weather between now and Easter, but it's going to be so much better. Baseball's in, starting to really get into spring sports. It's a lot of fun. It's a good time of the year. So I want to thank everybody for being with us this morning. Go Patriots, go Trojans. We're going to be following you today, Lady Trojans. Let's go take care of our second round matchup against Morrow and CCA. As if there's not enough pressure anyway, let's make history tonight. 2 state championships, same school, same day. I'm pretty safe in saying this has never happened before. Let's let today be the first time. So, for better or for worse, you're going to see me again this afternoon. You're going to be seeing me tomorrow as well. So, it's going to be a very video-heavy and sports-heavy next couple of days here at Douglas Now. And, of course, if there are any other breaking stories, we're following a few things. We're trying to gather some information on a couple things that happened yesterday. We can get those up today as well. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We will see you. We'll see you next time. See ya.